Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Virtual College Exploration. We are so excited that you are here tonight. Our Virtual College Exploration is hosted in partnership with StriveScan and Indiana Association for College Admissions Counseling. A couple of housekeeping notes before I turn it over to our speaker for the evening. You are able to, throughout the session, ask a question using the small Q&A box you should see at the bottom of your screen. So if you have questions, please add those in there because your camera and your microphone are turned off. So the only way you'll be able to hear or we'll be able to connect with you is through that Q&A box at the bottom. We encourage you to sign up for additional sessions if you are interested. You can sign up for additional sessions online and view the recording from this session as well as other sessions that have gone on over the last 2.5 weeks. Signing up for more sessions and viewing the recordings are all at inacac.org. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. And with that, I'll turn it over to our panelists.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. Whether you're watching this live today or at a later date, it's nice to see you. My name is Ryan Chernick. I'm a senior admissions counselor here at the University of Toledo in Toledo, Ohio. Let me get my PowerPoint pulled up real quick. There we go. Welcome, everybody. Like I said, my name is Ryan. I'm happy to be here speaking with all of you today. Our neighbors to the west here in Northwest Ohio, to all my friends in Indiana. We're going to cover all kinds of stuff tonight. So I'm here to talk kind of very broadly, very generally about the University of Toledo. But we are a pretty big school with a lot of neat programs, a lot of great opportunities. So if today is of any interest to you, if today you watch this, you listen to me talk, and you think that Toledo is a school you might want to know more about, please check out our website. First, scan that QR code right there. This is a way for us to stay in touch so we can send you more information about the University of Toledo, the things you might want to know about the school, the programs you might want to learn about as well. So we would love to hear from you, and hopefully you'd love to hear from us as well. But with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. So the very basics, right? The University of Toledo is a public university here in the state of Ohio. We're what you consider a mid-major as far as size goes, about 16,000 undergraduate students, about 4,000 more in their master's, doctorate, professional programs. So our total enrollment is just around 20,000 people. So by no means are we the biggest school that's ever existed, but we're not small by any stretch of the imagination either. It's kind of nice to be there in the middle as far as size goes, right? You get all the benefits of a larger university, you get the energy of a big campus, a Division I university. You get to have sort of the opportunities of a big school, the research component, the access to different career opportunities and traveling abroad. But when it comes to your actual courses and your class sizes, that's where it starts to get a little more intimate, a little bit smaller. So the average class size at UToledo hovers around 30 people. The student-professor ratio is just about 20-1. So for every 20 students, you have one full-time faculty or staff member. That's great because, again, you get access to kind of that bigger school atmosphere and opportunity. But the people who are teaching you, who are in your courses, who are working with you all 4 years at the University of Toledo, they get to know you. You get to build those strong relationships, which is super important because not only are we leaving UToledo with a degree, but we're also leaving UToledo having made a lot of good connections, whether they be professional or educational or personal as well, which is super important. Students go to UToledo from all across the country, all across the world, really, over 40 states annually, about 80 different countries as well, which is really exciting because I grew up in Southern Ohio. I grew up in Zanesville, Ohio. And until I was about 18 years old, I didn't know Toledo was a city, and it was only 3 hours away. Yet every year, people in Spain and China, Japan find the University of Toledo because it is such a good educational opportunity for people. And we'll talk about why as we go through the presentation. But the next thing you probably wonder about the University of Toledo is, do you have my major? Do you have the program I want to go into? And the answer is, probably. There's a good chance. We have over 120 different majors to choose from here at the University of Toledo, everything from the STEM sciences all the way to the humanities. So if you want to go into especially engineering or anything healthcare based, that's kind of what we're best known for. But the College of Business, the College of Education, the College of Arts and Letters, everything is well supported at the University of Toledo. So we wouldn't carry a major or a program if we didn't fully believe in it. So that's something super important to know about the University of Toledo. As we've existed throughout the last 100+ years, majors become relevant and majors stop being quite as relevant. And we're always examining that and trying to figure out what's the best way that we can serve our students and that we can do right by them and their educational goals. Now, not every student knows what they want to major in when they come into the University of Toledo, and that's also fine. You can come here not sure what you'd like to do, and we will help you figure it out. So you can come here undeclared or undecided, and as long as you have an interest in forwarding your education, you have an interest in getting your undergraduate or bachelor's degree, we can help you reach your goals. Look at your interests, look at what you would like to maybe do as a career, and figure out what major best fits, right? Where does our passion intersect with our purpose, and how can we use that to forward your educational goals? Now, in another case, some students come to the University with a major in mind, but then they change their mind, right? You come in wanting to do biology and you realize maybe that's not exactly the right fit. That's where it really comes in handy having 120 programs. So if the one you pick isn't right, you have 119 other options to choose from. So you have some flexibility, right? No one expects you to go to college and pick the right major perfectly on the first try. Maybe you will, and that's great. But if you don't, again, you have the paths to choose from here at the University of Toledo, and you have the support to do it as well. So you're not out there on an island. You're not doing this alone. UToledo is about supporting students in their overall success. So making sure that you have the support services you need. Now, what really makes UToledo kind of unique is the way that we commit to that experiential learning side of things. So getting students not only, again, an education and a diploma, but also a resume. So when they leave here, they can do something with their education, right? It's not all about the utility. It's not all about just doing career prep, but that is a big part because you want to come out of school, especially what you're paying for it, prepared to go into whatever field you're interested in, to get into medical school or law school or graduate school. And that determines kind of what your experiential learning is going to be. So if you come to the University of Toledo in one of our many science-based programs, it is that good access to undergraduate research. So being able to do that as early as the end of your freshman year, working in laboratories on campus. Last year, UToledo was granted over $50 million to carry out over 400 different research endeavors. And a lot of those teams had undergraduate students on them, people like yourself who came here with an interest and found a way to exercise that through our research programs on campus. Now, they're headed by professors and faculty and graduate students, but UToledo undergraduate students are a meaningful part of it as well. So you have the opportunity to be published. You have the opportunity to go to conferences, start your own projects, do research on your own, and add to that overall body of knowledge in your particular field, which again is awesome, especially if you are someone looking at going to medical school or law school, whatever it might be. That research is really what they're looking for right now. For some students, experiential learning is going to be things like internships and co-ops and clinicals and student teaching, all of that really good professional exposure that people need going into their particular career, into their particular profession. So that kind of stuff also very important at the University of Toledo. You'll see here on the screen, these are a couple companies you might be familiar with, you might have heard of, that are within about 3 hours of the University of Toledo. Now, this is not an exhaustive list by any means. We send students all over the country, all over the world to get that experience. But it's good to know that every year we are looking to make sure students have access to as many professional opportunities as possible. In some programs, it's required, like in engineering, you have to do 3 full semesters of co-op work. In some programs, though, it's just highly recommended. But either way, you will find that there is really good support through our many academic programs, the academic colleges, and the offices on campus to support students in finding these professions, in finding these professional opportunities, doing resume workshops, mock interviews, putting on career fairs and job fairs to help students who are currently enrolled and students who are graduating to help find that next thing. Trust me, I know how scary it is to graduate college, have to find that first job. So it's great to know you have the support of the dedicated student services staff at the University of Toledo. A lot of times the sciences and the business side of things can overshadow a little bit the arts at our school, which are still very strong, a little less well known, but certainly something that if you are a young artist, worth looking into, whether you want to go into the visual arts, the performing arts, design, dance, you have all these great options at UToledo. A neat thing is that a lot of our visual arts are housed in the Toledo Museum of Art, so the museum here in the city, which has some very beautiful works of art, some very nationally, internationally known pieces as well, is where we actually house all of our design spaces and our studio spaces. So if you're looking to take a painting or drawing or art-based program course, you can do it at the museum. Our Performing Arts Center is on main campus, so it's at the University of Toledo. Even if you're not in the major, in the program, you can still do all these kinds of things. So if you aren't exactly a theater major or a theater minor, you can still audition for plays and the musical, right? Even if you aren't a drawing major, you can still take a drawing class. The university is about you enjoying the entirety of your college experience, getting to do all the things you love to do, not just the things directly related to your major. So making the most of our time here at the University of Toledo. One of the reasons that I most enjoy working at UToledo is its commitment to access, making sure education is accessible. The belief that everybody, regardless of who you are, should have the opportunity to get an education, to enroll at a university and to forward their career, forward their life, whatever it might be. And you can't just commit to access. It's one thing to make sure students can get into your university. It's another thing to make sure that they graduate and they are fully supported. And that's where I think UToledo does a really outstanding job, making sure students, no matter what their background is, no matter what the beginning spot is for them educationally, they can come here and they have the support they need to make it all the way through. So your success coaches and your academic advisors, two groups on campus that are there to make sure you make it from the first day to graduation day. Academic advisors more so in the classroom, success coaches more so outside the classroom, so helping you in every other way that you might need at the University of Toledo. The Learning Enhancement Center is where you will find all your tutoring services, and the Writing Center inside the library, things like trio support services, disability services, the faculty. It's all there to make sure that that support is available when you need it. But if you come to the University of Toledo and you are flying high, you don't need any help, you don't have to use these things. So again, it's giving you the space that you need, but also whenever we see that trouble coming up, whatever course it might be giving us a little more problems, we tackle it and we grow and we get better. There's no point in going to college if we're not going to try and improve on our weaknesses. We can't just always go after our strengths. We have to look at what we need as a complete person, right? That idea of a liberal education is still important, even at the University of Toledo. Now, for the students who maybe are thinking the other side of the spectrum, maybe you're not thinking support services, maybe you want just the absolute most out of your education. You want that extra academic rigor. You want as many research opportunities as you can get. This is where you might find the honors program, right? This is a great way to get an enhanced educational experience, to be able to do more in the classroom with the community and building a lot of your skills. You'll see them there, things like communication, creativity, cultural competencies, a lot of things that go along with being a very well-rounded person. Our honors program is really committed to making sure students have access to using their education with the community, right? Being able to fully improve the human condition, which is the mission of the University of Toledo. We're about improving the human condition. So whether students are coming in as a biology or astronomy, if they're coming in as an education major or a business major, we all can improve the lives of those of the people around us. And that is where the honors program fits in, really finding those new avenues to do it. If you complete all the honors coursework, all 27 hours of the program, and your capstone project, your final project, you'll graduate with a degree with honors, which is a big achievement at the University of Toledo. If you're interested in applying, you can do so through our first year student application. There's an honors section you can fill out. They're generally looking for about a 3.5 GPA and about a 25 ACT or 1200 SAT, but they are also test optional. So if you apply, you don't necessarily have to use ACT or SAT scores if you do not want to. Now, we have focused a lot on the academic side, right? We've talked about classroom spaces, talked about majors and programs, support services, the honors college. Now it's kind of the other side of choosing the University of Toledo, the other reason people really gravitate towards us, and that is the truly phenomenal community that we carry on campus, the 16,000 young people that call the University of Toledo home. You can't get that many students on a campus and in a community and not have a lot of great ways to be involved. I mean, over 400 different student organizations. Whatever you're looking to do, there's a great chance you can do it at the University of Toledo. So whether you want to get involved with student government, a religious organization, fraternities, sororities, whatever it might be, you have that kind of access here at the University of Toledo. A lot of them are philanthropic in nature. So it's always, again, that idea of community service. How can we better the lives of those of the people around us? But again, if you really just want to join the robotics club or the dance club, you have those options. Make the most of your college career, wherever you decide to enroll. That is the best advice I can give anybody, is in that 4 years, do not just spend it all in the classroom. Definitely go to class and be in the classroom, but at the same time, do the other things you love. Really explore the world around you. And when you have this many people from around the world in one campus, get to know the other cultures, the other people especially. Students who go to the University of Toledo will live on campus. We are a residential university. So for the first 2 years, my freshman and sophomore have to live on campus. It's a 2-year housing requirement. After that, they can choose on campus or off campus. So for their junior and senior year, this is a picture right here of downtown Toledo. So this is sort of the heart of the city. I actually live in downtown Toledo. I live right next to that Key Bank building there in the middle of the picture. I'm currently in my apartment. This isn't a live picture or anything, but that is where I currently am. The University of Toledo is about 10 minutes away from here. So I love being downtown. I think it's very fun. But if you drive about 10 minutes away into the more residential part of the city, that's where you'll find the University of Toledo. And that is where you will be living. In the residence halls, you'll be eating on campus. There's a rec center on campus, a health center, a counseling center, a pharmacy, everything you would need for a community you're going to live in. But we're also the 4th largest city in the state of Ohio. So all the great things you would look for in a city and a community, you can find here, whether it be great food, shopping, events happening throughout the city, athletics. Again, we're a Division I university, but also we have 2 minor league sports teams in downtown Toledo. They're a lot of fun to go watch. Any other time in history outside of 2020 specifically, for reasons that we all know, there's usually great events happening all the time. So street fairs and festivals and concerts. So it's a great city to live in, a great city to call home, and a city that's attracting right now a lot of young people, not just college age students, but young professionals and graduates. So it's really a city on the rise, which is really exciting to be here for. Now, we have gotten into some of, again, the basics of the University of Toledo, but I probably didn't talk very much about your particular major or your particular interest. And that's, again, where I recommend that you reach out to me. And my information will be at the end of the presentation. You can definitely grab it there. But let's talk now about the admissions process at the University of Toledo. For my seniors who are watching, right, how do we get started at UToledo in the fall of 2021? So the first thing you have to do is choose an application. You're either going to do the Common App or the Discover application. Either one is perfectly fine. Just to be clear, you can do either one and it's great. The Common App is good because you can do one application and submit it to over 800 different schools across the United States. So you can do one application. It's kind of lengthy. It's a little long, but once you get done, you can send it to all these various schools, including the University of Toledo. The Discover app is the exact opposite, where it's one application that's very short, but it's only good for the University of Toledo. It's only going to work with the University of Toledo. So if you're only applying to a handful of schools, maybe do our application because it'll save you time. But if you're doing a whole bunch of applications, you can see where the Common App's utility comes in. So again, there's no preference from us. Whichever you do, that's great. Just get it submitted to the University of Toledo. The bigger decision you have to make is whether or not you want to apply traditionally or test optionally. A traditional application means submitting your transcripts and your test scores, whether those be ACT or SAT. A test optional applicant means just submitting your transcripts, and we only review you for admission based on your GPA. Now, there's benefits to both. So maybe you have a great ACT or SAT score. Then I would apply traditionally. Maybe you don't have such a good SAT or ACT score, or maybe you never took the ACT or SAT. Maybe you never had the chance to do it. Then test optional, obviously a clearer path. But if you're somewhere in the middle where it's not totally clear, that's where I recommend you reach out to me. Give me a call, shoot me an email. I'm the counselor for the entire state of Indiana, so I'm happy to help any way that I can to figure out which is best for you, not only for admission, but also for financial aid. So take a look into that, go on the website, do a little digging, but before you submit an application, reach out to me if you would like to double check. The deadline for admission to the University of Toledo is not really until next summer. We're a rolling admission university, but there are some financial aid deadlines that are coming up that I want you to be aware of, and that is December 1st. December 1st is the priority deadline for our merit scholarship. So any student who applies to the University of Toledo before December 1st will automatically be reviewed for a merit award. And that's an award based on your GPA and your SAT or ACT score if you decide to apply with one. And that award for my out-of-state students ranges from about $8,500 a year every year for 4 years to about $14,500 every year for 4 years. That's a big range. Again, it depends on your grades. And if you'd like an estimate, again, give me a call, shoot me an email, and I'm happy to help. So remember that deadline though, December 1st, your application needs to be submitted. But let's talk a little bit to close up today about financial aid at the University of Toledo. This is certainly a longer conversation that we need to have, and one that probably means us talking one-on-one because everyone's situation is a little bit different. But speaking very generally about the University of Toledo, we have always been known as a very cost-effective school. And that's, I think, something that's so important, especially these days, is a program in a university that takes very serious students' financial burden. So making sure that what they're paying for, they are getting a great education out of it and trying to keep that cost down as much as we can. The first thing is our Toledo tuition guarantee. So whatever tuition is for your freshman year at the University of Toledo, whether it's next year or the year after, is locked in for all 4 years. It's not going to rise. It's guaranteed. Now that is awesome because it means we know what we're going to be paying. We can expect a cost every single year at UToledo. And also, like I said earlier, that merit scholarship is annual. Every year we know what it's going to cost. So we can do a lot of really effective financial planning. The next thing we'll look at after that merit scholarship is the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. This opened on October 1st. You don't have to file it. You'll see down there, it's a must, in quotes, a must. You should file the FAFSA if you have any doubt at all about what you're going to get out of it. So if you know for a fact what's going to happen if you file the FAFSA, because maybe your brothers and sisters all went to college already, maybe your family already knows, then again, you don't have to do it. But we strongly encourage students because maybe you will get some kind of grant out of it. Maybe you will get a work-study grant. Maybe you will get some kind of federally subsidized loan. We don't know that until you file it. So feel free to reach out to us or our financial aid office, Rocket Solutions Central, if you would like any clarification or help with the FAFSA, the application of it, whether you get flagged for verification, all that stuff we are happy to help with. But it's a useful tool and one worth taking seriously. Then we have the scholarships at the University of Toledo. The Merit Scholarship, we've already talked about a little bit, but again, that's an award that you get on admission as long as you apply before. That's right, December 1st, and it is based on your GPA and your ACT or SAT score, depending on how you decide to apply. The President's Scholarship is the full ride at the University of Toledo. That is full tuition, full room and board, and a $3,000 summer research stipend. Great award, very competitive, as you might imagine. And the deadline for its application is December 1st. So you have to be admitted before December 1st in order to do the application. So you really apply by November 1st if you're looking to go after that full ride at the University of Toledo. The Levis Leadership Program is a great way to grow your leadership skills as a young person, especially if you are looking to go into something that is not as connected necessarily to your major, but just sort of growing individually, successfully as a leader. There are aid options for it, so a scholarship attached to it, which is really nice, but certainly something worth looking into as our application deadline is not until the spring. So definitely do a little more research on the website if that sounds like of interest to you. The Student Financial Aid General Scholarship, that's one application for over 100 awards at the University of Toledo. They're all endowed scholarships, so given to the university by our very, very generous alumni and donors, and they every year help students afford education. So definitely do it. One application auto submits you for all these different scholarships, and then your program and college specific ones. So it depends what you decide to major in. The College of Arts and Letters is different from the College of Natural Science and Mathematics, which is different from the College of Nursing. All of them have different awards for different academic years. Some are for freshmen and sophomores and juniors and seniors. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what good does it do me getting a scholarship my sophomore year? Well, here's the thing. You will eventually be a sophomore, and that's where it does you some good. It's great to see that you can keep applying for scholarships all throughout your time at the University of Toledo because, again, your tuition is locked in. We know what tuition is going to be, but we can always be earning more in aid. And if we work hard and we're diligent, we can see that cost come down every single year. And that is why UToledo is always so competitive when it comes to students' financial aid packages, when it comes to total cost, loans taken out at the end of your college career, and the way that your education will pay off, right? It's an investment in yourself. So it's so important to think about that, right? Comparing us to any other program or university, I'm confident we can stand up to them. But when it comes to cost, I know that we are one of the higher value options a student can make. And if you have specific questions, feel free to give me a call or send me an email. My number and my email address is right there. I would love to hear from you if you would like more information. If by the end of this presentation, you've decided you are interested in the University of Toledo, go ahead and scan that QR code now. Get your information over to our office so that we can keep you updated on everything changing. Again, the mission of the University of Toledo is to improve the human condition. And if you come here, no matter what your academic goals are or your personal goals are, we are going to find ways to grow as an individual. One of my favorite things I've heard a professor say, and I think it really sums up the University of Toledo, is no matter where you come in your academic journey, we are ready to help you grow. So students don't have to come to UToledo fully formed. They can come here and get the help they need to develop, or they can come here as incredibly high achieving and just take to the sky and really see how far they can push themselves. And whether your goal again is professional to go directly into employment, or maybe it is that medical school or law school or graduate school or a PhD program, we want to prepare you for that next phase. So come give us a look, come give us a visit if you'd like to see campus, and especially send me an email so we can connect and see exactly what the University of Toledo can do for you. Again, it was great speaking with all of you tonight. I hope you have a great rest of your evening, and go Rockets.
Wonderful, Ryan. Thank you so much. Are you all finished up?
Yep, we're good to go.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you all so very much for joining us for our virtual college exploration. When you close out of the screen, there will be a quick survey. It's just a quick 4-question survey, and we ask that you fill that out to help us work these events in the future. And as another reminder, please know that you are able to sign up for more sessions. The schedule is online, and the recordings will also be online there at InACAC.org. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you, Ryan, for being here tonight, and we hope you all have a great evening.